crew. Hope you are all doing well. It's been a little while. I have not had time to record anything, or, well, I've had some time, just haven't had the energy. I just changed jobs and have been adjusting to that, as well as you can see here. I got the chance to attend Gen Con. Just, well, I guess it's a week and a half ago now. Tonight we are drinking a Unite the Clans Scottish style rye ale by Third Space, which is a Milwaukee microbrewery. I've had this one. Here's a little more information on it. I've had this one on tap before, and this is the first time I've seen it in the store, so I was interested to try it. It's pretty good. Kind of your classic rye style Scotch ale. Just a little bit of bitterness. You can see there 25 bitterness units, and pretty malty. But it's got that nice rye bite, I'll call it. It's kind of a different than just, I don't know. I'm not very good at describing flavors, but the rye has a definite taste compared to beers without it. So, I am here to show you what I got in Magic cards at Gen Con. This was my first Gen Con. I was really pumped to go. As you can see from the playmat, I played in one of the qualifier for it was an M19 sealed qualifier in order to try and get into the beta draft, which obviously I did not get into. One round, I drew a round, and I lost a round. At that point in the day, I was already too tired, so I decided to just go back and play games with my buddy that I went with. So, but let's get on to the goodies that I got. So first off, where should we start? We'll just start with these. These were just a couple of things I bought. I had some birthday money. I sold some cards. And, yeah, that's kind of what went into these cards here. These I got for my collection. I like to collect some very specific cards. I like to collect Counterspell, Dark Ritual, Lightning Bolt, and Swords to Plowshare. I am attempting, very slowly, to get at least one printing of each. Trying to get at least one copy of each printing of each one of those cards. To me, they're very iconic cards, and I would like to put together those sets. It's always good to have goals, right? So, first off here we have a Jace. Oh boy, I can't remember what these are called. This is the Jace Spell Slinger box. No, that's not what it's called. But it's all the custom. They're going to do one for each Planeswalker eventually, but I did not want to buy the whole box. I don't care about the other cards. I just wanted this counter spell, so there's that. someday I'll get to my binder video and you'll see all these amongst their friends. Here, I didn't have any of this copy of Dark Ritual. This is the revised. Come on. Dark Ritual. Sandra Everingham is an artist. It's an interrupt before it became an instant. And these were some very good condition. Obviously some corner damage, but very good condition, very white on the borders. I was happy to pick up 4 of those. They were only like $1 each, so I was happy to pick up those. That was part of my birthday money. And then I traded in, if you watched my Masters 25 opening, you saw me open the Jace the Mind Sculptor and the Vendilion Click, and well, I really had no use for either of those cards. I was happy to open them, obviously, get some value back, so I managed to trade those both in for store credit at the Star City Games booth. And I picked up these for that, pretty much a straight up trade. I did buy my buddy a Path to Exile, so 1 path and all of these equals those 2 other cards. So these cards are a lot more interesting to me. I'm never going to play with those other ones, really, so why not get something I want to look at? So first off, we have a very bad condition. I'll just pull that out here. It's got a crease and scrapes, but I'm not in it for the condition. And this is just my first black bordered Arabian Nights card. I believe maybe I have 1 or 2 others commons, but this is just a main character in that, so I was happy to pick this up. Sinbad, summon Sinbad, tap to draw a card from your library, but discard that card if it is not a land. I have no idea if that's played anywhere, but it's a black bordered main character from Arabian Nights, so I was happy about that. Next we have a Legends Boomerang with some very funky art. Brian Snotty. Again, this is in not great condition, not as bad as that Sinbad, but it's a black bordered Legends, not Chronicles. So, just like to collect the old stuff. Then we have a, let's see, this is a revised, I believe this is revised. Oh, shoot. I believe so. Because, grab this. Yeah. My way of telling, I'll show you this, the way that I can best tell revised versus unlimited is, so here this, let's put these 3 cards together here. See this Dark Ritual, which I know is revised, how much space there is between the word and the border. Same thing with this balance that I was just looking at. And look at this lightning bolt, which is unlimited. How close that is to the border right there. So that is my best way, my quick way of telling whether it's limited or revised printing. There's some differences in the centering and the text size on here, but without looking at a picture of the two compared to those, like the Dark Ritual, the text size is different on the limited and the revised, but without a picture comparison, I can't always just pick it up. So that's all leading to this unlimited balance, which was in fine condition. Just an iconic card in an older printing. That's not something I collect directly, but I mean, I guess, yeah, iconic cards like that, older printings I like. Then, so let's keep going here. This is my second, I believe, second revised, no, unlimited lightning bolt. I just got done explaining this was unlimited. So yeah, this is my second limited lightning bolt. It was out of the poor condition box of lightning bolts that they had, which it is not. The thing about it, though, if you look at it, the left-right centering is way off, so no one in their right mind would get this graded. So that's what put it in that box. And for me, the centering is not really so much important. The thing that I like is just the nice white border. That's really, even the back, my other unlimited has a really scuffed up back, but a beautiful white border. So sitting in the binder where I have the collection, it doesn't really matter. Then we have another revised card. This is my first, let's take this out of there, it's kind of reflective. This is my first revised counterspell. And if you're wondering, I don't have a single beta or alpha card. So this is the oldest set that I have any cards from. Base set, that is. Some scratches on the back. It's a big one there, but the corners aren't too bad. But again, the left and right centering, you can see this side is larger and this side is off, so that's why this was in the poor conditions. But it has a beautiful white border, and again, will sit in my binder, collecting dust beautifully. I mean, showing off to all my friends that I impress with my Magic collection, because I have one of those. Alright, and then the final card is part of the Jace Vendilion Click trade in, is this alternate Swords to Plowshare, alternate 4th Swords to Plowshare, which and autographed. So there are a couple things here. Number one, I have not actually authenticated this autograph. I assume since Star City Games was selling it that it was the real deal, but you can see it is not the greatest autograph. You can see how it is faded and the marker is not strong. Oh, here comes my dog. You can tell that it's faded. But then the other thing about this card is it is from a set that I did not know existed, which is called the Alternate 4th Edition. Apparently, and I couldn't really find a reason why, but apparently there was a printing of 4th edition done in the United States that came out differently. It's got a little bit different texture, some different colors. I don't know the whole story. You can look it up. I found an article on some Magic Wikipedia thing. But that is a alternate 4th edition, so that's a new set that I didn't have on top of an autograph, which leads me into the next section. The other thing that I spent my money on, actually let's just jump back real quick. So you could say that trading in a Jace and a Vendilion Click right after they had been reprinted was not a smart move. Value-wise, probably not. Probably makes sense to hold on to them. They're both cards that are going to keep seeing play. Just wait for their value to creep up, get the most value before I sell them, before they're reprinted again. But when it comes down to it, I'm much happier having these cards in my binder, part of my collection, than those two cards that will be printed again, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. That's the problem with drinking beer during ASMR videos, is they make you burp a lot. So I apologize if you're kind of grossed out by that. But the value, doesn't really matter to me at this point in my Magic collecting career. I still want to maximize the value of what I open and spend my money wisely, but these cards are just much more important to me. So, next, we have, my segue kind of got ruined there. I was talking about this autograph. So that was the next portion of what I bought in Magic cards, and I paid for, I should say. So there is, I looked ahead of time before I went at all the artists, and I pulled some of the cards that I wanted autographed, which I'm happy to pay $1 or $2, whatever they charge. They should be charging a lot more in my opinion, but I'm happy to pay $1 or $2 to get cards signed. They need to make money. They need to. So the artists, they're not getting paid millions of dollars for Magic art. I know that much. So I took a set of cards, and I got some artist prints, which we'll get into in a minute. And for those of you that don't know what those are, I can tell you a little more about those. So we'll start with just the straight up autographs. Most of these I took to get autographed, specifically from my collection. We have first some Dan Scott. I had, some small conversations with these artists, some more than others. Be honest, I'm a little bit intimidated by the big names, so I kind of just say, hi, thank you. But here we have Dan Scott, the emblem, and the card of Dready Scrap Savant. Since this is about the artists here, let's get up close and personal with that art. I believe this is just a cropped version of the same art, so we'll just look real close at this guy. Before you go making assumptions, I have this. I still have this pre-made commander deck. I don't really play Commander at all. Just have a couple of the pre-mades that if anybody wants to play Commander, I could play. So this is one. Yeah, Dan Scott. And all the artists were great. I don't know how they sit there signing for 4 days, talking, making small talk with strangers. So that's Dan Scott. Let me just check real quick if I have any other. I think that's all I got. Yeah, that's all the Dan Scott I had. Then I have this double-sided token. Was awesome because both artists were there. So here we have Tuk Tuk the Return, which is in this pre-made Commander deck, something that makes this token. And we have Franz Vollwinkle. So I thought this was pretty cool. Getting it signed by both artists. That made me pretty excited. Then we have some other cards I specifically took. This is Eric Deschamps. Boy, I don't actually know how to pronounce that. But we have Karametra, God of Harvests. Beautiful painting. Oh. This card just makes me, this art just makes me want to make a Commander deck for this card, though. Sure, that's possible. Another Eric. We'll just call him Eric. Olivia Voltaire with her glass of wine floating. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful work. And we have another, the last Eric, the Balefire Dragon, with smoke billowing out. Great, awesome stuff. And then we have maybe my favorite thing, a whole stack of stuff that I took from Mark Poole, who is one of the original Magic artists. Still doing cards today. Still trucking. Who, as I said already, I collect counter spells and really has the best counterspell art there is. I don't know why they would ever change off of this. It's just silly, but it still conveys the meaning. Ooh, my spell didn't work. Oh no. So I got 3 of those signed. Then he did the original art on Urza's Tower, all 4 editions. Now, I would love to have the Antiquities versions of these, but I don't. So I got these signed instead. Cramped signature. While I show these, I'll tell you that while I was there was someone getting some beta cards signed. Some beta Birds of Paradise. He also drew the original Birds of Paradise. I should have the original beta Birds of Paradise being signed. And he also did the original Islands. Again, these are the oldest versions. versions that I have. These are revised ones. So I got those signed. And, you know, some people don't like getting their cards signed, reduces the value, blah blah blah, but I'm not gonna sell these. I just much value, more value to me in the experience of meeting the artists, getting the cards signed, and having those. And I threw in a couple of tokens. Well, my dog's here again. Alright. I'm going to actually finish up this video and shoot another one with the artist proofs and kind of talk about artist proofs a little bit more after this, because I'm running out of room on my phone, on my memory card. So we'll just talk about this last one, which, when I said before something was my favorite, this is really my favorite. When I was planning to go to Gen Con, I went and looked up all the artists, and I saw who was going to be there. I picked out cards. Then the first day, I'm walking around, and I say to my friend, "Hey, I think that's Phil Foglio at that booth over there." And he looked at me and he said, "Who?" He said, "Phil Foglio, you know, Phil and Kacha Foglio, who I'm always talking about as my favorite artist in Magic." And then he put the connection together, and he knew, because I, you know, being the cool person I am, randomly will talk about how he's my favorite Magic artist. This, you know, the question is he my favorite for the novelty? Maybe. But back in the day, not all Magic cards look the same. Phil and his wife, and you can find his art in other games. He's tied with the Cheap Ass Games company. He's done a lot of work. You know, he's friends with the owner of that, designer there, as well as him and his wife do a comic currently called Girl Genius, a webcomic, paper comic. I'm not sure. I never really got into it, but he used to draw the weirdest stuff for Magic. Now, I have a small collection of his stuff. So, had I known he was going to be there, he wasn't listed as an artist. He was there selling his comic, not listed in the artist alley because he wasn't in the artist area. He was just part of another booth selling his comic. So, had I known, I probably would have taken a whole stack of cards for him to sign. As it was, I spent the next 2 days searching every vendor, and he did not really do any art on any cards that really would be worth anything. So, not really cards that would be in vendors, or being sold by vendors. But I happened to find this on the second day, this Greed, which he drew. His wife drew the original Mishra's Workshops, which there were versions of, but obviously he did not do that art. So I found this Greed, and if that isn't the weirdest thing, oh, I love it. And he was still, that was my next fear, was that once I found this card, was that he was not going to be there every day. But he was. Now here I am with a signed Phil Foglio card. Alright, I'm going to cut this video here and maybe come back and talk about the artist proofs. Hope you guys have a good night.